Are you looking for the best gaming mouse? In this video we will look at some of the best gaming mouse. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Razer Deathadder V3 Hyperspeed. The Deathadder has been Razer's flagship mouse for nearly 2 decades, and for good reason. From iteration to iteration, Deathadder's historically struck a balance between style, ergonomics, and performance, and the V3 Hyperspeed is the best version yet. Surprisingly, Razer went with a more nondescript look for this model. It has no RGB lighting and only sports a low-key Razer logo at the palm area. But I dig the sleek look, and it lets the rest of the mouse speak for itself. In my Deathadder V3 Hyperspeed review, it earned a 9 for several different reasons. The springy, responsive clicks of both the left and right mouse buttons are great for gaming. Its side buttons are properly shaped and positioned to make them easy to use in intense situations, and the 26K optical sensor is plenty accurate for precision aiming in the competitive scene. It also gets a number of small things right, such as the grippy smooth touch texture and slight contours that make it easy to whip around in frantic firefights. And the fact that it weighs in at a super light 55G means it's effortless to use day in and day out. The Deathadder V3 Hyperspeed is reasonably priced for a mouse of this caliber, although you do need to buy the hyper-polling dongle separately to access up to 8000 Hz polling rate. While I do think the Viper V3 Pro has the slight edge in terms of pure performance, the Deathadder V3 Hyperspeed is a better all-around mouse that'll be tough to beat for years to come. Number 2. SteelSeries Rival 3. If you're really tight on money but need to either upgrade from a standard office mouse or replace an aging gaming mouse without breaking the bank, the SteelSeries Rival 3 still holds down the fort admirably. It's a symmetrical, somewhat compact USB wired mouse coming in at 77G, and it's a good fit for fingertip and claw-style grips. It's designed with a little flash and flare with a programmable RGB strip around the base and on the SteelSeries logo at the palm. Most importantly, it's comfortable and accurate to the point where I don't mind using it for ranked Counter-Strike 2 matches. It may not have the most sophisticated tech as its sensor taps out at 8500 max DPI, but even then, the TrueMove optical sensor is still very accurate. Its left and right clicks aren't quite as crunchy as my current favorites, and the side buttons are very thin, but that doesn't hold it back from performing under pressure. It goes for a sort of one-size-fits-all design, so while I had no problems whipping it around for shooters, it likely won't fit like a glove as some of the more higher-end mice tend to. But the fact that you can get a mouse that performs at this level for just $20 to $30 is an incredible value, making the Rival 3 one of the budget gaming mice. Number 3. SteelSeries Aerox 3 Wireless. Sticking with SteelSeries, the Aerox 3 is a flashy mouse that looks loud. The triangular cutouts at the palm and the bright RGB may seem over the top, but in actual use, its effects are quite nice, which you can customize through SteelSeries software. And if you're worried about damaging the internals, they're guarded so it's not actually exposed. None of that would matter if the Aerox 3 wasn't fit for gaming, and thankfully it's one of my favorite wireless mice you can get on sale for around $50 to $60. That makes it a great value for an all-rounder. In our Aerox 3 gaming mouse review, it earned a 9 for holding its own in competitive shooters with SteelSeries TrueMove Air optical sensor, topping out at 18,000 DPI, while not having to eat up too much battery. Although battery life has evolved in brand new wireless mice, the Aerox 3 still isn't a slouch and charges fast, if anything. It's a bit tough to find a flashy, high-performance wireless mouse at this price range, making the Aerox 3 my current recommendation for a budget wireless mouse. Number 4. Logitech G403 Hero. The Logitech G403 has been a personal favorite for many years as I see it as the spiritual successor to my all-time favorite, the MX518 from decades ago. Its grooves and super grippy rubberized texture on the sides make it easy to pick up and swipe around despite it being a bit on the heavier side of mice, although I will admit that the material picks up grime more so than others. I really like how large the G403 is since I have big hands, and that makes a palm grip very comfortable. However, its size is something to note if you prefer something smaller. One thing I've always loved about it more than even brand new top-line mice is the chunky and clicky side buttons. This makes them easy to use and distinguish from one another, which is helpful since I use them often. It's outfitted with the same super accurate Hero sensor as all of Logitech's high-performance mice, making it a great value to get the same quality sensor in a reasonably priced wired mouse. I also just like the simple aesthetic of the Logitech G product line, especially with this one being rounded and elegant with just the Logitech G and scroll wheel strip giving a bit of RGB lighting to boot. Number 5. Logitech G703 Hero. This pick is kind of an easy one considering the praise I gave the Logitech G403, that's because the Logitech G703 is essentially the same mouse, but wireless. It shares the same dimensions as its wired counterpart, save that it weighs a bit more, 95G, because of the battery. But you get all the same high-performance tech and ergonomic upside, just without the wire. Despite it being ever so slightly on the heavier side of other wireless mice I've recommended in recent years, the G703 still feels easy to wield because its weight distribution makes it nicely balanced. The rubberized grips also help keep it secure in your hand, so it takes some of the load off of you as you're lifting and swiping the mouse in gaming scenarios. And as I said earlier, the Hero 25K optical sensor makes Logitech mice some of the best in business in terms of tracking accuracy. It's a bigger mouse, so again, take note of whether or not you prefer something larger, effectively making it wonderful for palm grips.